Welcome, everybody. Get adjusted here. Okay, welcome to Community Fit and another midweek desk stretch slash embodiment slash feel good, get ready for the rest of the week class. I like what we've been doing the last couple of weeks. I think we're just going to continue this thread on for the remainder of the series. In the chat, go ahead and drop in anything you want to work on today. And remember, this class is about those aches, those pains, those body questions, the body parts that might be stymieing you. So, are we working on jaw today? Are we working on neck? Are we working on wrists? Are we working on shoulders? Are we working on upper back, low back, hips, feet? What do we got going? We have a vote for neck. Got it. Anything else? We got upper back and low back. So we got all of the backs. Okay. This is my first time. Neck would be great. Welcome, Tanya. We got neck. We've got hips. Okay. Uh, arms. Got it. Anywhere for the arm question, any joint in particular that's sort of bothering? Is it an elbow? Is it a shoulder? Like what seems to keep you from living your best life while you're working or sitting in a chair or got it. So we got some rotator cuff, jaw. Okay. Elbow and shoulder. Got it. Okay. So let's go on the exploration here. We are going to do something different. Normally, the last few weeks, I haven't introduced myself. Hi, I'm James. I'm going to be your host for today. For those of you who are new here, welcome. The last few weeks, we've gone sort of top down, meaning we started up in the head and we went down into the neck and down, down, down. Today, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to start in the hips. I think that's the lowest portion. And then we're going to work our way up. And here is an invitation. If you've been with us for the last few weeks, just notice which way worked better for you. Which way leaves you feeling the way you would like to feel? And maybe note that for your own personal practice. Because again, this is not the totality of your practice, right? Spending 20, 30 minutes with me on a Wednesday is not going to do much for your body. Right? This is where you come to learn some of the things that then you do for the rest of the week and for the rest of your life. So maybe now that we have some practices underneath your belt and you're starting to discover, oh, that jaw thing works really well for me, or that shoulder thing, or oh, when I do this, my hips feel better. Maybe you're still figuring all of that out. And if you are figuring that out, maybe you're now adding in the element of which way do I go? Is it better to start at the top and work my way down, or is it better to start at the bottom and work my way up? Neither one is the right choice. It's just options, right? As always, with any of my classes, there's nothing you can do wrong here. These are simply explorations. So if anytime you need a break, so on and so forth, go ahead and take your break. I do not necessarily monitor the chat while I'm teaching, but any questions you might have on the practice, stick around. I'll answer whatever I can answer at the tail end. Now, let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and sit comfortably on whatever chair it is you're sitting comfortably in, and just notice how you are sitting. Do you tend to weight one side versus the other? Do you tend to crisscross your legs, or are they, and again, there's no right choices, there's no wrong choices. You're just noticing, right? Did you automatically sit up in like some version of a perfect posture? We've kind of talked about that. Or are you allowing the chair to support you? Just go ahead and allow that chair to support you. And as always, we're going to start off with our nervous system work. Why? Because nervous system health is the key to unlocking whole body health. So let's go ahead and start with the simple breath work. The simple breath work for today is take a short inhale and an exaggerated longer exhalation. That's all you got to do. We're putting the emphasis on the exhale. No need to count, no need to do anything. We're going to do 3 of them. However it is, fast or slow, you do them, starting now. An inhale, exaggerated long exhale. 2 more, your speed. One more. And for today, let's go into some tapping. Now you can use just a few fingers and you can kind of tap jaw. You can tap like a sternum or chest bone. You could even try tapping like an index finger. You can kind of go along until you feel an area that feels important to tap. Or you could do one of CommunityFIT's personal favorites. Crisscross your hands like so, put them on your hands, and just do a little butterfly tap. You can do one side and then the other. You can do both sides. Your choice, but just a little tapping. I always like to commingle my breath work and my tapping. So for me, I'm going to continue with that exaggerated exhale. One more, just to help us get centered and present. Good. Now, for me, I'm going to scooch back just so you can kind of see a little bit of where my legs are, even more. I'm going to take my left leg, crisscross it over my right, like so. And then I'm just going to do a little rock, little right and left rock. It's kind of waking up some hip joints here. Now, if that feels good, keep doing that. If not, maybe there's a forward lean and a backwards, almost like you're rocking forward and back. One more. Good. From there, this is my left foot. I'm going to hard flex the left foot. So like a flat foot. Keep that foot flexed. What that does is kind of activate some of the front of the shin muscles and help to protect the knee from any torquing or weirdness that the knee might feel. From there, I'm going to keep that foot hard flexed. I'm going to use my own muscles. I'm not going to use my hand. I'm going to use my own inner thigh muscles to lift that knee. And then I'm going to use the back of my leg muscles, kind of my glutes outside of the leg muscle, to push down. If you're like, I don't know what muscle I'm using. If you're doing this and then this, those are the muscles that you're in fact using. I guess what I'm trying to say is refrain from using your arms to do this, right? Kind of activating some of those hip muscles to make this happen. My knee comes up, my knee goes down. Hard flex on the foot, knee goes up, knee goes down. If you're having a hard time with that, you can always try straightening. Again, limited space here. I'm straightening out my right leg. Left leg goes up and over and kind of getting it there. And I can make that foot travel down the leg. So instead of that ankle over knee, my ankle is now over kind of shin area. And that will decrease the amount of stretch or flexibility you need in the hip in order to be able to access this exercise. Just kind of moving through. And then I'm just going to take and kind of bounce, move that leg. I'm just like a restless leg or a nervous little leg, just getting to move. And my foot is kind of like hopping or skipping or jumping here, right? It's just a little movement through the leg. It's almost like my foot is doing more work than my hip joint is. And then settle and notice any differences between right and left side. Now, if that's a side that's bothering you or you want to do more work on that side, cool, do that. I'm going to do the other side. You'll notice this side is less flexible for me. And I'm just going to do a little rock. And that less flexible thing is not a problem. It's the constitution of my body. I'm not trying to fix anything. I'm not trying to make anything symmetrical. This side, you're going to notice I just work differently with this side. And then there's a forward and back rock. And then there is that hard flex of the foot. Knee goes up, knee goes down, knee goes up, knee goes down. Last 3 and 2 and 1. Set that foot down. If you are not on a firm chair, this next experience might be a little more difficult for you to access. So if you have the capability of being on like a firm chair, think a dining room chair, bench, something firm versus like a really cushy couch, chair, ergonomic seat, whatever it is, you might feel this one differently. This is an experience that kind of crosses both the Wednesday class and the Friday class, our nervous system specific class, because there's a lot of nervous system work, and we'll talk about this experience over in that class from a very different lens in the very near future. For this class, this experience also has everything to do with hip joint and low back, and even some like gut or IBS, sensitive belly concerns. And that is the experience of allowing your sit bones to feel wide, right? So sit kind of forward, and if you kind of rock right sit bone, left sit bone, that right bone underneath your butt cheek and the left bone underneath your butt cheek, those are called your sits bones. Find a place where you can relatively feel both equally, dependent on how your routine or default posture. You may feel like you are having to be more on one side or kind of lean more on one side. Ignore that and instead kind of sense into where are those sits bones now. Once you are more or less in the center and your feet are relatively grounded, and kind of feel or imagine where's your pubic bone and where's your tailbone. For so many people, this is a new experience because we haven't given a lot of thought to our pelvis. We just kind of know that there's a pelvis down there, but where are the landmarks? What's the experience? What's going on? Right sit bone, left sit bone, right sit bone, pubic bone in front, tailbone behind. Now imagine that tailbone pubic bone area is a magical midline. And I'm going to be very clear with my language. Squeeze, contract, pull together your two sit bones as if it's going to touch that magical midline, right? Like I'm squeezing. You might feel a butt cheek squeeze. You might feel your abs squeeze. You might feel some low back muscles squeeze. And then relax, release, yield, let go, and allow the two sit bones to move laterally away from magical midline. Again, squeeze, contract, actively bring together your sit bones towards the middle, and then change your mind. Release, allow, let go, widen the sit bones. Now, you can't force those sit bones to go wider. That's why I'm being very clear, right? If you are doing a sit bone wide, you're doing something different. This is an allowing. If you're sensitive, you might notice one side lets go or moves wider than the other. That's fine. Just notice, is that the side that I'm really tight on? My hip joint, my belly? Is there like a hernia or a pulling sensation on that side? Just kind of noticing. What we're working with here is pelvic floor. And that pelvic floor and that experience, which pelvic floor and more without getting too deep. But it's that experience of squeezing and then letting go, right? We tend to do a lot of squeezing, a lot of tucking, a lot of holding. And this is going, do I actually need to do that? Can I widen? Can I relax? Can I let go? Squeeze, do the contraction, let go. And notice when you let go, what it sort of reveals. For me, it's much harder to do on that right side. That's the tighter hip side. And when I do that, I'm also like more aware of my low back muscle, and I'm more aware that I'm sitting in a chair. Your experience might be different. It might be the same, but it's squeezing, releasing, squeezing, releasing. This helps kind of tonify pelvic floor, which also tonifies some rib, diaphragm, some lots and lots of stuff. So it's a way of working on several things that appeared on our list from a really passive, easy thing that you can do anytime, anywhere, literally sitting in any chair. So, our goal for today is for the rest of our time together, about 15 minutes. Your goal, the mission statement, is to allow those sit bones to be relaxed, released, widened, no matter what else it is we do. And you're going to keep checking in. In fact, I'm going to say do a check in. And when I say do a check in, this is what I'm talking about checking in on is the sensation that I'm feeling underneath of what I'm sitting on, that of relaxed, released, widened, letting go? Or have I defaulted to something else? And you're not doing anything wrong. You're not doing anything right. It's just what's happening. And so we just keep checking in and checking in and checking in. Got it? So do a check in, stay relaxed, released, widened. And now, can we just get like a little pelvic tilt going? This is different than that going forward and back, right? This is I tuck and I untuck, almost like I'm on a swing set. And for so many people, you're going to notice that when you do a tuck, you squeeze your butt cheeks. That is different than allowing that widening, releasing, letting go. If I keep my pelvis wide and I do the tuck and the untuck, I'll notice my abs and my low back muscle need to do more work versus hip flexor and butt cheeks, right? We're looking to get movement in through the low spine. Why? Because low back was an area of concern that we all chose today. If you're just joining us, we always start off at the beginning of this session, the beginning of this class, with a catalog of what we as a group would like to work on. Hips were number one, low back, number two. Here we are, working on the movement. Again, any comments you have, any questions you have, save them for the end of class because I don't monitor the chat. So I'm going through, right? So just getting a little bit of movement there. Then instead, what if that, instead of like a forward and back, what if it became like a hula hoop sensation? And again, check in. Checking in is the sensation of the sit bones, that of kind of wide, released, and relaxed, letting go? Or am I squeezing the butt cheek as I'm doing it? Am I squeezing that pelvic floor? Is everything pulling towards midline? And if so, can you let it go a little bit and force another area of your body, some of those low spine muscles, to have to get some movement in? I like doing this one in front of a mirror, right? Because hula hooping, doing the hula circular movements is something that seems really logical in our brain, like, oh, I'm doing it. And then if you watch yourself in the mirror and you're going to notice you're doing something up here or something different, and it's really about practice. It's about, oh, that is the area I'm trying to move versus I'm just trying to do movement, right? So it's a little bit of getting conscious about where am I moving? And if I have like an achy, icky area in my body, is it overly moving or is it resistant to moving? Because both of them can be problematic. Reverse your hula hoop. You want, ideally, conscious integrated movement, meaning I can move wherever I want or hold something still, and I'm aware of what's happening. That's ultimate. And you're likely somewhere in between, like flagrant, I don't know what I'm doing, and that ultimate ideal movement. And it's a journey. And how do we get better? Practice. Good. From there, can you let your belly relax? And then squeeze. Let my belly relax and then squeeze. And as I let my belly relax and then choose to squeeze, is the squeeze a squeeze? Or is the squeeze kind of like lifting my ribs and sucking in my diaphragm, right? That's different. There's a relax and then there's a contract. And maybe a good visual here might be relax. And then can you contract where you would imagine you're wearing a belt? Way down that low. And then relax. Belt contraction, relax. Then change your mind. Can you kind of squeeze where you would imagine you would get measured around your belly button? Maybe it's like a jacket, like a cropped jacket of sort that would hit there. And then relax and relax. Next one is maybe where there's like a vest, so up here in the ribs, or like a bra if that's what you wear. So something that might be tight around here, like maybe a three-piece men's suit, like a vest or a bra or something around that rib area. Contract, relax. And maybe there's a contract when you exhale and then an inhale. And then can you just let it all relax as you do a little seaweed spine, right and left. Just a little movement. Maybe the visual again for you is like seaweed or kelp in Monterey Bay. Maybe it's blades of wheatgrass. Maybe you're more visual and you're just like sense oriented and you notice your horizon line tilting to the right and tilting to the left. And then coming to center. Now, let's get into some of that upper back shoulder area. Take your right hand, reach it out in front of you. Leave your elbow where it is, but place your hand on your left shoulder, right? So we're not dropping and we're not overly lifting. That elbow kind of just stayed still. We're going to take our left arm, left hand, right elbow. Choose. Are you going to twist it this way or twist it this way? I don't care which way you twist, but the elbows don't get to drop. So it's really, you can see it's like a wrist movement. And what we're doing here is kind of locking in some muscle, locking in some fascia, locking in some skin. Hold. From there, we're going to twist towards the unlocked elbow. So I'm twisting to the left. I'm going to do some breathing here. As I do that, I'm checking in. Check in with your sits bones. One more breath. Back to center. Twist the opposite direction. Do your check in. One more. Back to center. Sticking with this side. Let all of that go, but lift your right arm up. Keep that elbow locked into place and let that other hand try to touch your ear, right? So we're not doing this or this. And if you can't touch your ear, just touch the top of your head, right? So here I am. That hand is going to hold the ear. The ear pushes into the hand without going anywhere, right? So I'm here. Hold. The whole unit reaches over and you can feel kind of a great big stretch here. And maybe there's some breath. Back to center. Letting go. Other arm, other side. Left arm reaches out. Grab a hold. Hold. Lock it into place. Twist. Check in with the pelvis. Two more breaths. Checking in the whole time. Twist the other direction. Checking in. Back to center. Left arm reaches up. Touch your ear, head, whatever you got. Over to that side. This side for me is tighter. Notice for me, cross-body connection. Right hip, left shoulder, tighter. It's about noticing your own patterns, right? It's about getting curious. We're curious about a lot of things, right? Like what's going on with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce? What's going on with another country somewhere? What's going on with the stock market? What's going on with fashion? Whatever your interest is. And the invitation is like, what if you were curious about your own lived experience in your own body? One more breath. Back to center. Just some basic shoulder rolls here. Now, again, we spend so much time computing and in that forward motion. I'm going to turn my chair this way. I'm going to take my arms behind me here and hold on and just kind of pull down and lean. Now, if you have like a big ergonomic chair, right, and there's a big back here, maybe for you is just like, can I touch my hands back there? Might be an option. Then put your hands on your own chair arms here. And if you don't have arms, you can do this on a table. You can do this on the back of your seat, wherever it is. Put them down, bring your feet out in front of you a bit. And as you push down with your arms, lift your hips and kind of send your hips forward and back, right? So I'm not trying to stand up. I'm pushing down with my arms, sending my hips forward, and then sitting back down. Pushing down with my, if you were in Move Lab with me, you know there's a basic theory of movement. In order to go up, something's got to push down. Here we are, pushing down with feet, pushing down with arms, and maybe there's some breath. Two or three more. I'm going to do one more. Good. I'm going to move back here a bit. I'm going to put my hands on my knees. I'm going to sit kind of forward here. Legs are open wide, hands on my knees. I'm going to let my head drop. I'm kind of pushing with my arms. Head drop, shoulders drop, elbows bend to kind of take my head down in between my knees. In order to come up, I lift my head, I push with my arms, and I lift my chest. Relax, reset. Head drops, shoulders, elbows bend, spine goes. I lift my head, chest, breathe. If you get good, you'll notice that there's like a serpentine or undulating sensation here. One more. And then shake it out. For those of you who commented on like neck and jaw things, just notice working from the bottom up, did that already begin to unravel, release, shift your experience with like neck and jaw stuff? No need to even answer. Just take a little inventory. Sometimes neck and jaw stuff actually isn't coming from neck and jaw, it's coming from down below. Sometimes hips, it's not coming from the hips, it's coming from up above. So it's just good to notice. From there, I'm going to get my hands warmed. Hands go on the front of the throat. Just let my head fall into my hands and a little rock. A little rock. And then hands go behind the neck. I send my head kind of backwards, and it's like I'm pulling on the back of my neck. One more. Kind of holding my own neck with my hands, like elbows are dropping down and the head falls back as I do a little pull. One more of those. And then release. From there, right into the jaw. A little bit of just jaw massage. All the way through. And then we're going to go right into our guppy breath. And again, guppy breath is just opening their top and bottom jaw to the level of tension and just where you can start to feel it tight and then slow close. Next time, a little bit more and close a little bit more. I like to do an inhale as my mouth opens and an exhale as I close, but you do you. We're going to do 3 of them. And again, if it feels good, you can do more after this. Lastly, take your hands, put them interlace, put them on the top of your head. Do a check-in, final check-in with those sits bones. Hold there and just let your weight of your hands rest, and then push your own head like your spine is getting taller, and hold. You might feel some action in between the shoulders, some action in the neck. Hold. And then just practice melting the shoulders, widening the sit bones, just being here for a moment. Hold all the bones still and let your eyes orient to your space. Meaning my eyes are just casually looking around the room. Up, down, to the right. No bones get to move. Come back to center. Let your arms go and do a check-in. What felt important? What are you going to practice? And maybe, what do you have questions on? That's today's class. As I said, I'll stick around for anything you might want to know. And if not, please join us on Fridays for our community class, which is all about nervous system regulation, nervous system coaching. We have our last of the foundations class this Friday, meaning my 5 basic tools. And then we're going to jump into some fresh stuff for March. But the class, you can jump in anytime, anywhere that you like. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, James. That was really helpful to me today, and looks like others as well. You're getting some good kudos. I
Good.
have a question. Is that Bob Ross on your right side, or is that a pillow?
That's a pillow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, Bob hasn't moved.
No, Bob is locked out for today. Let me see if I can get him in here. Bob.
While
Hey,
James is getting
Bob.
his cute little puppy, I just wanted to remind everybody also that next Tuesday, the 27th, I'll be doing my Heart Health Smart Goals seminar at 12:15. There's Bob. Oh, look at him. So cute. I'm going to put the link in the chat right now and hope you guys can make it. Here's the registration for the Smart Goals Heart Health presentation. It's a 15-minute presentation followed by 15 minutes of personal goal setting. So awesome. All right. Let's see. I don't see. Oh, I did see a question early up in the chat. Where should
No,
knees be in relation to sit bones when opening?
and I'm assuming that was like just the sit bone meditation. They
It
can
was
be
right in the
wherever
middle
you want them to
class.
be. I would just suggest that the feet are relatively supported on the ground. And again, this is a practice. I use it as a somatic meditation. So we are going to do a deep dive into some somatic meditations mixed with the nervous system's work probably in April. So we're going to kind of lead up. I've got a vision for what we're doing in March for Friday's classes. And then in April, we're going to probably get into some of these more like somatic meditations, which is what that is really. It's a meditation in the body. It's different than like a thought meditation.
Awesome. Exciting. Great. I don't see anything else. Thanks for bringing Bob on today. And thank you,
Yep,
everyone. We'll see you on Friday for Community.
got it.
All
Bye,
right. Bye, Raymond.
everybody.
Thank you. Bye.